First up, very near and dear to all of us here at Shamley Stadium. Believe it or not, she is 51 years old. Say hello to Molly Corky. And one more time, everybody over here. Now, as high as that is, believe it or not, this next whale can jump even higher. She's a very cool whale. Her name is Shuka. Get your cameras ready here in the center of the pool, because here she comes. Ladies and gentlemen, here's Shuka. Now, these two whales are just a small portion of the 11 whales that call SeaWorld San Diego home. Our pod consists of 5 males and 6 females, ranging in age from 51 years old all the way down to little baby Amaya, who's just 7 months old.
Wow, so you can see how different each whale is. But did you know that there are even bigger differences in the wild? And would you be surprised if I told you that there are actually different kinds of killer whales? Yeah, scientists refer to them as ecotypes. They live in different habitats, they have different body types, and they even pursue different types of food. And although killer whale ecotypes are different, they're also considered members of one single species, Orcinus orca. Now, one of the questions that we get asked all the time is, well, how big does a killer whale grow to be? That would depend on which ecotype you're talking about. Is this killer whale we're talking about a 16-foot female from Iceland, or maybe a 30-foot male from Antarctica? Let's take a closer look.
The remarkable thing about killer whales, no matter which type, is that they are found throughout our global ocean, from the Arctic to the Antarctic, and literally everywhere in between. They are found in so many different habitats and depend on such a variety of marine life for survival that killer whales are more intertwined with the fate of our ocean than any other marine animal. Truly, these awesome animals are the living symbol of our ocean, representing so many different species.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, let's hear it for Shuka again. Okay, well now it's time to check out some of your really great questions. So here we go. So many people wonder what it's like to be a trainer. In fact, raise your hands if any of you out there have ever wanted to be an animal trainer. All right, wow, look at all those hands. Well, then I think you should meet our dedicated trainers that interact with our family of whales every single day. So take a look up on our main stage. You'll see Summer. There's Mike again. And Jen. Our trainers are so passionate about what they do here every single day. You know, in fact, that makes me think of another one of your really great questions. Do the trainers talk to the whales? Well, Mike, I'll let you answer that one.
That is a good question. Now, we don't talk to the whales like you and I talk to each other. So we've taught the animals hand signals to allow us to communicate with them. And it's this ongoing communication that allows us to develop strong relationships with each and every one of our killer whales. And it's only through this relationship that we're able to answer tough questions through research.
Here at SeaWorld, we have a unique opportunity to conduct research about killer whales, asking important questions that can only be answered in a setting like this. So much of what we learn here is being used to help killer whales in the wild. Of course, there are other questions that can only be explored by studying whales in the ocean. By exploring questions both at SeaWorld and in the wild, our combined research gives all of us a better understanding of killer whales and the places they live.
And that's what I call working together. Research flowing in both directions, from our park to the wild and back again. That way, everyone benefits. Time to view another question. This individual wonders why whales jump. Well, I just happened to that emoji. Look. You know, killer whales communicate in a lot of different ways. Sometimes they vocalize, and sometimes, well, they use their bodies. And a jump like we just saw, that's called a breach, and they're making a sound on top of the water. And when a killer whale uses their bodies to slap the water, it really creates a commotion, both above and below the surface. attention of the other whales. Oh yeah, some of you may have heard about Kalia's new calf Amaya, and our SeaWorld social media fans actually helped us name her. And here at SeaWorld, we're really lucky because we get to watch newborn calves rely on their mothers for everything, from the very first moment of birth.
As a calf grows and gains some independence, it is looked after by other whales in the pod too. They help the mother protect the calf, teach it survival skills, and show the calf how to romp and play. Killer whales live in family-like groups known as pods. Like human families, their pods can range in size from just a handful of whales up to a few dozen.
All right, guys, well, here's another really important question. Does having a killer whale breeding program here at SeaWorld help whales in the wild? Absolutely. Our successful breeding program helps us understand the developmental needs of pregnant mothers and newborn calves and even young killer whales. That's critical information because it's the time when killer whales are most vulnerable in the wild. Gaining this kind of knowledge is only possible through the research that we're able to do right here at SeaWorld.
Recently, SeaWorld worked with researchers from the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, or NOAA, to help them develop a model for identifying when a killer whale is pregnant by looking at aerial images of the animal in the wild. Prior to this cooperative effort, where SeaWorld provided direct, unparalleled access to our pregnant whales, researchers had no solid way of knowing whether or not a female in the wild was carrying a calf.
Oh, wow. That's a lot of questions, but believe it or not, we get them every day.
We sure do. Killer whales communicate with one another using all sorts of different types of sounds. Let's listen to a few of them. Here comes our favorite. Now each kind of killer whale, or each pod, has their own unique dialect or their own unique set of calls. Now don't forget, they also use body language. Here they go, they're gonna bring their tail flukes up. Nice job.
Yeah, sometimes they blow bubbles or bump into each other or even scratch each other with their teeth, causing something called rake marks. And those are the multi-line marks that you might see on the skin of killer whales and dolphins. That's just one of the ways that they display dominance over each other during social interaction, both in the wild and here at SeaWorld. And we've just learned that killer whales communicate with one another by vocalizing and by using body language. But you know how we communicate with them? We use signals. And here at SeaWorld, we really do communicate with our whales, and we want future generations to be able to do the same.
That's absolutely right. And right now is our favorite part of the day because we're going to have two special friends. We have Ethan over here on my left. Say hi to Ethan. And Jeannie over here on the right. Wave hi to her too. Very good. Now they're going to get the cool opportunity to interact with Corky and Shoot out here in the glass. So you guys were working with your trainers. Let's try a couple of those signals. Go ahead and take your hands and wave them real high above your head. Let's see what happens here. Good job, Ethan. And they're waving back to you. Excellent job. All right, let's try a different one here. We're gonna have you spin your body in a complete circle. Go ahead and turn around. Very good, go ahead, stop, don't get too dizzy. And watch the whale, they're dancing with you. Good job. All right, let's try another one. Take both your hands out in front of you and throw them over your head. Let's see what that does. Oh, good job, Edie. Now, for being such good sports, we'd like to present you with these whale tail pendants to help you guys remember your time here at SeaWorld and meeting Corky and Shuka. So let's try one final thing, guys. Go ahead and take your right hand, put it on your shoulder, and sweep it down past your body. And turn around and wave to the audience. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give Vinny and Ethan and their new friends, Corky and Shuka, a round of applause.
Looks like maybe we have some future animal trainers really great question. Who takes care of you, Shamu? Well, I love that question because it lets us give all of you a peek at how much we really care about these extraordinary animals. So, Mike, are our trainers ready?
Now we sure are. Training you see actually allows us to take care of the animals. We call these husbandry behaviors. Now what you're going to see out of the glass is what we call a tail fluke presentation. This is where the whales learn to present their tails to the trainers and allows us to obtain a blood sample. This blood sample is very crucial for monitoring and observing the animal's overall health. Now another behavior that we do that you guys often see in the shows are when the animals slide out right here in the slide out. Looks like Shuka's on her way to show that for you. Now not only is this an excellent photo opportunity, it allows us to weigh the animals. There she is. Now we weigh the animals about weekly and we want to make sure that the animals are staying healthy and more importantly, the calves are growing properly. Now the high energy behaviors that you see the animals do earlier, such as the side reaches, are what we call exercise behaviors. Those enable us to ensure that the animals get the exercise they need. Now these are also behaviors that killer whales do both here at SeaWorld and out in the wild. And Shuka is going to demonstrate one of those for you. Small jump over there. And get ready in the center of the pool. Here she comes. That was really good, even for her. Good job, Shuka. Now, these exercise behaviors are important to ensure the animals get the exercise they need each and every day.
And because we've been able to determine, and probably you all might wonder, how much does a killer whale need to eat every day to stay healthy?
That is a good question. Now, just like you and I, we all have our own unique dietary needs. Same thing with the whale. Now, Corky and Shuka are both full-grown adult female killer whales. Shuka weighs about 5,000 pounds, and she's eating 110 pounds of fish every day. Corky over there, she's our oldest member, she weighs 8,000 pounds, and she eats about 130 pounds of fish a day. Now, it's important to note that no matter what the whales do every day, they're going to get all their food each and every single day.
And here at SeaWorld, we're able to watch how much killer whales need to eat at different stages throughout their life. And because of that, researchers in the field are able to determine if ocean habitats are healthy enough for killer whale populations to thrive. And well, that type of information is invaluable.
Now, food, exercise, and physical examinations from our veterinary staff are not all the animals need. Each animal's well-being is so important to us, we want to make sure that their minds are stimulated and challenged as well. Now, this kind of stimulation can only come through learning and play. And up on the screens, you're going to see some of the whales playing with some of our man-made enrichment devices, or that's a fancy word for toys. You're also going to see them playing with kelp. Now, we can get that kelp right here in Mission Bay, and also Jello. Now, we can make that right here on site. And as you can see, the whales love interacting with them and playing and moving them around in the pools. Now, the other things we do is just simply hanging out and playing with the animals, as you see us doing right now. And it's one of our funnest times interacting with the animals. Just very relaxed, hanging out, rubbing them down, and just interacting with them and having a lot of fun. We seem to really enjoy that. You see some are just splashing water into Shuka's mouth. They don't actually drink the water. They get all that water from the food that they eat to stay hydrated. Now, we've found that even through all the games and toys that we can provide the animals, it still seems that the best enrichment comes from interaction from other animals and their team of experienced trainers.
Okay, well here's a question for all you kids out there, because I know that you want to know, who would win if a killer whale squared off with a great white shark? So, raise your hands if any of you think that the great white shark would win. I see like one hand. Okay, now raise your hand if you think that the killer whales would win. That's right, killer whales. Because a great white shark hunts alone, but a killer whale hunts with a whole pod, so it's not even a competition. And you know, killer whales have even been known to hunt blue whales. You guys know how big a blue whale is? Oh, well over 80 feet. It's the largest animal ever to have existed on our planet. The killer whales can hunt these huge animals because they coordinate, collaborate, and cooperate. Yeah, they work together as a group to overcome challenges much bigger than themselves. And you know, I think that we might be able to learn a lot from killer whales on how to overcome our challenges that our ocean faces. Maybe if we work together, we can change the fate of the ocean, even the world. All right, look, a few more questions. And you know what? Here's some of those really common ones that always come in. So here we go. First question. Why do some dorsal fins curve? That's a great question. Dorsal fins lack any sort of skeletal support, such as bones or cartilage, to support their height and weight. They're completely made up of connective tissue. So if an animal spends more time at the surface, over time, the tissue inside that fin can weaken and the fin will bend. Now, occasionally we see these curved dorsal fins out in the wild, like you see here in the photos, and here at SeaWorld. Next question. How fast can they swim? Well, depending on their size and their body weight, killer whales have been known to reach speeds of almost 30 miles an hour. Okay, next question. How much water can their tails splash? Well, their tails, or flukes as they're called, are really strong and can fling a whole lot of water about halfway up these stands. So, last question. If all of the whales splashed at once, could they get the whole audience wet? Maybe not the whole audience.
संभल ना पानी पर